Welcome, and thank you so much for clicking on my video. Oops, I'm on the cues. We need to go over to the SPY to start off this video because today we were paying attention to a bunch of things. Today was going to be very critical, and we did see some confirmations, so we need to be paying attention. And there is some stuff that we need to get into for this video. And the first thing I wanted to do for you guys is get you guys those daily expected moves for the SPY and the Qs. Something we are going to focus heavily on is the SPY and the Qs in this video, as I'm again limited on time. But as we do pay attention to the SPY and the Qs and get you those daily expected moves, we're going to move right into looking at those confirmations we were paying attention to on the 2-hour and the 30-minute chart that do tell us some hints on, do we have the probabilities to roll here? And then after that, we're going to talk about tomorrow and the plans for if any confirmations that did confirm actually do go wrong, and give that plan in case you were wrong. It's very, very nice to do it at these times. In a bullish market, you do see divergences a lot of the time, and so paying attention to if you're wrong can be a great thing. And then we're going to finish up by looking at some volatility with the VIX. So let's just hop right into it. And thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And really, I just put this information out to be helpful. So if this information proves to be helpful to you in any way, please leave a like down there with that little thumbs up button. We do see the 640.26 to the upside. We have 633.62 to the downside for the SPY. Let's go over to the Qs real quick, and then I'm going to give you something else as I click back over to the SPY. I know that this is kind of quick here, but if you want to, you can slow it down. You can go pause it at that point and make sure that these lines are on your charts. The Qs, 571.48 to the upside. We do have 564.80 to the downside. Interesting thing about these this week, the daily expected moves are proving to be very low implied volatility, but the weekly expected moves are very big. And you'll notice I have to zoom out pretty good to see that. So we could still experience a, say, more than 10-point drop from here, but we could also experience a 10-point pop from here as well. So we have to consider these signals very, very carefully. Now, as I go back over to the SPY, something I wanted to do for you, especially if you're new here and you weren't here for a long time, was tell you how to get this 5-day. Because if you really zoom out on this, just with a 30-minute chart, you see how even at times when we do lose it, when we're able to take it back, this market has really been able to remain bullish. And thank God for 30-minute divergences. Am I right? So if you want to get this on your charts, I'm going to teach you how to do that right now. You can actually click into here. Just type SMA in the indicators tab. And then you'll want to, when that is on your chart, select in the inputs the 1 day on the time frame. That will be very, very important, but it is very, very nice to have on your charts for a guide if you are going to see those negative territory swings or anything like that, and you can use your MACD accordingly. The MACD is not negative at this point. The second thing I wanted to look at were the things that we talked about over the weekend, and we posted this on Patreon, even giving some of the managements for the trade. So what we would consider here is the 30-minute divergence. Now, with a 30-minute divergence, we do see confirmations of that 30-minute divergence a couple of times, and we're able to see some kind of roll, not able to lose the 5-day, not able to lose anything critical at this point. So that means I am still paying attention to if I did take some kind of short position, trying to say there is some kind of top here, as it likes to roll over 2-hour charts, and we will get to that. It is still good to have a plan for if that goes wrong, because it is earnings week and we could raise that floor into Friday or something like that. We really want to be paying attention at this time. As we look at this further, we would go into a 15-minute chart, and we would say if the 15-minute chart does curl up into positive territory on this MACD, it can be a big deal. And you notice that we are still relatively, actually very, very close. You notice if we just saw 30 minutes worth of buying, we would see 2 bars of green, and most likely this MACD would be going into positive territory. So if this opens up in the morning and is able to cross up on the 15-minute in the first 15 minutes, that is what I like to do as a management for the trade. If you want to learn this further, there is a course down in the description called the Full Technical Analysis course. So you do have 30-minute divergence. Now, this will be very interesting as we go into the 2-hour chart. The 2-hour chart here is very, very cool because you did confirm something here. And if you really look at this, we have the extended across divergence. You actually got confirmation for the SPY. This is going to be very, very critical at this moment because the SPY is suggesting that this is a good confirmation and that we do have weakness and momentum here, but we have a lot of distance between these areas. So always pay attention if that's curling up, but that's going to be very late. So you have confirmed some divergences here. If you want to click into the RSI, you can see that we are creating these tiny, tiny divergences, but not with the singular point. So if the 2 hour is able to curl up, we might raise that floor for a bit of time. and the management for the trade here. We have not lost the 5. Yes, we do have a good confirmation, but when is this overall bad? I like to take it on the 30-minute. For 2 hours, I usually take at least a month out type of play. And if the 30-minute is able to cross up into positive territory on this MACD, then I get out of the play and say we are most likely to raise the floor. So if the 30-minute does curl up, say in the morning tomorrow, and it doesn't create another divergence point or create a lower high and start to drop, well, then it is very likely we are going to see some kind of squeeze. And that's why you want to be very careful and have that plan for if it goes wrong. So the reason we're paying attention to this 2-hour divergence is because the daily chart is way up there and is overall suggesting, hey, I would like to cross down at some point with the divergence on the MACD, but not on the RSI at the same time. So this suggests that we could go through something bad, but it's not necessarily pointing towards some kind of big stock market crash, even if it looks ugly, and we will pay attention and update you on this channel for that. Let's pop over the Qs, which also wants a pullback, also does have those divergences on the MACD. Hasn't curled back up on the daily scale yet. RSI is cooking to the upside. Very, very nice, very, very bullish market. This is not going to be, even if it looks ugly, even if it looks like, oh my goodness, it is down, we'll still be paying attention if that thing reverses back around. Maybe we create some divergence later on. But for now, we just have to pay attention to what? Let's do it a little backwards. Let's do the 2-hour chart first, and then we'll look at the 30-minute. The thing that is interesting for the Qs as of right now compared to the SPY is the Qs have that divergence all across their RSI and the MACD very, very plainly. So the Qs here seem a little bit weaker if they would confirm this divergence, but that overall has not confirmed. So we really, really, really want to be paying attention to if it does. And something we can utilize is the 30-minute. We'll go into that in a moment, but you do have 2-hour divergence across here. You actually have 2-hour divergence from the very, very top here up here. A lot of divergences during these squeeze type moments during bull runs. And it's usually when you start to give up on some kind of pullback that you actually see it. And earnings might just be used as a trap for people to see good numbers. People like retail start to jump in when they see the good numbers and see a stock going up. And then it just starts to tear down because the rich people already made their money. Sorry, that's just the game that is overall played here. The 2-hour chart needs to overall lose this 5-day. And really what you would like to see is the 2-hour chart be able to come down past something like 558 to then react back up with a dead cat bounce or a dead cat bounce down towards the weekly expected move if we are able to tear down. But right now we are overall looking what? Bullish because there is no confirmation. If you look at the 30-minute and you say, hey, I saw a divergence, and so I'm overall saying, hey, this is going to tear down, that's perfectly fine. But the 2-hour management for the trade would be if the 30-minute curls up into positive territory and you don't have confirmation there. So we pretty much shouldn't even have a plan for if it goes wrong. There's no trade to be had for the downside to call some kind of top for the Qs. And that's just the truth of it. The 30-minute does have some divergences, flat, flat, flat on the MACD, but if you click into the RSI, we got a higher point. So if the 30-minute curls up, it can make a new high. And if it's able to squeeze and wipe out this little point right here on the RSI, wipe this out, we could go up for a bit of time here and create those divergences later. So we will be watching out for it and look for the violation of the 2-hour. The 30-minute, as of right now, if you wanted a management for the trade, if you took some kind of 30-minute trade thinking this was some kind of good divergence, or maybe you were looking at the extended across divergence from this point over here, we can see that drawing this up, the MACD, the RSI. I don't know if I'd really believe too much in that at this point with the upside that you did get, but hey, it is possible. We will be watching this. And if you did have some kind of short position, then it would say, hey, if the 15-minute is able to curl up in what positive territory, then that can go to something like 571.48 tomorrow morning. So watch out, or buy the close, right? Because this is a 68% zone. The 15-minute here, if we were able to just make some kind of divergence point and roll or make a lower high and roll, that would be the attempt to test the 5-day or even break that 5-day to actually go into that negative trend. So be watching very carefully. But if you took a 30-minute position in some way, the 15-minute is what I like to utilize on the MACD to tell me, hey, momentum is starting to shift to the upside and you are in a bullish market. You are above the 5-day moving average. Something that Volatility was telling us was exactly this. Volatility was overall suggesting, hey, on the 2-hour chart, watch for a reversal signal. Do we overall have one from the 2-hour chart? No, we had one from the 30-minute. We saw it. We got a little spike in volatility. We touched that 5-day moving average. Notice that volatility is below it, so it is heading down, down, down. And if the 2-hour wants to do this, it can create a reversal signal in some way. on the 2-hour chart. So be watching for 2-hour divergence. If 2-hour divergence is wiped out, then we might just be in more and more and more of a bull run here for VIX. I am not leaning towards that at this time, but I follow the signals. I let the charts do the work for me. Doesn't really matter what I think. I do my trades based on confirmations with the charts. That's the whole point of using technical analysis. So the really interesting part for VIX is it going to form a divergence? Are we going to see, oh, the market looks like it's positive, it starts to go negative and creates a higher low? These are things we discussed on Patreon earlier today. So thank you so much to my Patreon members. You are looking for the 5-day moving average to be taken back, or some kind of divergence that tells you that a reversal is coming for volatility, and looking for the same thing in the opposite direction on the SPY at the same time. I apologize that this video had to be brief. I will have some more time, possibly tomorrow or going on into Wednesday or Thursday, to make a full video looking at Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, Meta, Microsoft, Google. And if you want, and all these charts over here, all these stocks over here. So if you do want some weekly expected moves or anything like that, the Patreon link is down in the description. If you want a few more update videos throughout your day or some kind of weekly update, we actually put that out earlier on Monday, today, this morning, right when the confirmations were overall about to happen, because I was looking at smaller charts suggesting that they would. I put that video out there. We got confirmation. We also gave the management for the trade in case people were trying to call some kind of top here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys were able to take something away from it. That is my overall goal with this channel, is to just be helpful to you. That's why I do it. And over the next couple of days, I should have some more time to make an extensive video about all the stocks that we are covering. But since you did watch to the end of the video, and when I said, thank you for watching, you didn't hop off, I wanted to point out Palantir. I think Palantir is super interesting here. Now, I said that this was overall posted to Patreon, and I said overall, this could need some patience to it. It looks like the 2-hour has created the divergence, right? But it has not confirmed. You see the divergence on the MACD, you see the divergence on the RSI at the same time. But what do we look for if the 2-hour is going to cross? We look for 30-minute divergence as well. And have you created it? No, you saw support off the 5-day. So if Palantir is able to see one more upside move, but then fail after making a new high and creating a divergence here, then that can really show that the 2-hour wants to cross, and Palantir might be very, very close to some kind of top. If you want to join Patreon, you can go look at the chart for Palantir. It looks like a 30-minute divergence could be created first before this actually tips over, and watch out with all the earnings coming down the tape. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night. Peace out.